like, no, that's nonsense. But he's a very practical, pragmatic, super smart guy, you know. And I wish people could listen to him. There's some things he say that, can be outlandish. But for the most times, he says things and they inspire thinking. Let's just be transparent, man, If we're transparent, wouldn't have these celebrities fraudulently buying some of these cars and then it comes out, because they don't want to be seen in an Uber. Do you get me? And me coming here and being honest is me being seen in an Uber, being honest. So we'd like to come here and have these, this look and this facade, that we create. 50K is enough for a housewife. It depends what kind of life, you know what I mean? But you want to live, and it's not going to be a poverty life. It's going to be an okay life, It's enough, man. People must stop with this pressure.
Yeah,
Feel that pressure.
Guys say stuff that the chillers don't like.
Then we apologize. I said
so. You're captured by the chillers.
Yes, that's who I work for.
What if you truly believe in those stuff, though? Genuinely so.
So to me, like 2 weeks ago, I said something they didn't like.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and thought about it, I was like, actually, they're right. Then I apologized, and we keep it moving.
If they were wrong.
Okay, but you realize, yes, that's what I mean. If they are wrong, and what you said, you truly believe in it.
If then
you are right.
If then I think they're wrong, I'll come on the podcast and say I still feel that way.
Because all it sounds like to me is being captured. You're just choosing chillers because there's the subscribers and they watch the content. But someone will be like, how much does it cost to keep the lights on? I'll pay 5 times that. Now you listen to me.
The thing is, bro, the chillers, our audience is like family.
Yeah.
And with family, you disagree and you agree.
Isn't that industry?
Yeah,
friends?
sometimes you don't talk to family for a month.
Of course.
Or forever. But sometimes you disagree with family. You can't look at one another in the eye for a week.
Yeah, Solly's family, if I agree with him, I'm like, dog, you were right on that one.
Yeah.
But if I don't, I'll be like, no, I still stand by what I'm saying.
Yeah,
bro, I think you need to understand it's important for us to stay true to our chillers because those are the guys that make us.
And that's what brought them to the podcast,
you know what I mean? Those are the guys that buy the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So once you deviate from that, you've lost them and then you've got nothing because celebrities won't back you, sponsors won't back you, and then you're left with shit on your face,
Because the sponsors are there for the numbers.
Yeah.
So what makes the numbers stay? It's who we've been all along.
Fair enough.
So we can't change that for anything.
For anything.
Can't change that.
MacG's Kitchen, available on Uber Eats, Spaza Eats, Mr. D. MacG's Kitchen. Order. When you get your orders, take pictures, videos, post on all your social media platforms under the hashtag MacG's Kitchen. The YFM generation is here. Mr. PHENDUKA.
The other YFM generation. You guys are the real YFM generation. There's many generations, but I guess every generation is the real generation in its own way, its own flavor, It's Katsia. It's like the youth of 76.
Yeah.
The youth of now is still the youth, even though they are called for different reasons and purposes.
But let me tell you what's nice.
Yeah.
We both started our careers at YFM. We both on some of the prominent podcasts. You're in
I see where this is going.
The number one podcast in the continent.
Thank you.
And we are both on morning shows.
Yeah, so both on radio, and we live in both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, that's cool. You guys inspired us, man, Me, I was a huge fan of you, man. Still am. So, huge inspiration. We'll never forget that. My boys know, my boys from Force Laws, Tear Smooth, they know. how much I fatelaed you. Not the stay who made you, who you worked with. Another stay, very, very close stay.
No, Undalo is doing well. You know, he's got a construction company.
I know he's good. He's building mansions.
Ah, my man.
Hey, should we mention that he's building mansions?
He's building mansions. Man.
Yo, you said fuck this house music. House construction is where it's at.
When you check his Instagram, ubona kahle ukuthi yo, ngathi ngisadlala la emhlabeni basebenza abantu.
Yeah, he's done so well.
Yeah.
He's really done well. Well, I'm so proud of him. And every moment when I get a chance to just say, you know, that guy, he used to be a music producer, and now this is what he does. It makes me so proud. And especially not because he's my friend, but just a guy from the hood, man, you know, that we saw, you know what I mean? Yeah. When he got his first car, I was super inspired. I mean, when he produced Proverbs' first album, like the Book of Proverbs.
Yeah.
So inspired. In fact,
he's killing it.
When I knew that you could make beats just through a computer, and like, what, you can make beats? Yeah, and I remember his brother say, you know, guitars, name an instrument. It's like, it's in the computer. You know, got inspired there. When he, like, funny enough, stays inspired. His progress in life has just inspired me. And he probably didn't know this. He's gonna watch this and be like, actually, you know. And that's the beauty of life, right? We live and we don't know who we inspire and who is watching us, and you know who falls in love with certain crafts and certain moves and things because of us living just our lives as good as possible.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, man.
Before siqhubeka ngeringasi ngicela ukukushaya ngesikipho sika-Mzix, man.
Yebo Grootman lami.
Kitchen, yeah.
Nami ngicela ukushaya ngesikipho saka Soliano.
Oh, no,
we're both captains, the skippers.
That's nice.
So these are oversized shirts. I don't know if you're an XL or a large. But
large. Yeah.
They're gonna be big enough.
XL.
Is that XL? Are you sure?
Solvana, ne?
Soliano.
Oh,
It's
Soliano.
stylized. It's Soliano. It's my piano. So dropping an EP, Soliano. It's my piano. It's Soliano.
Nice.
Yeah. Soliano, man. You can get it. Soliano.co.za. Where's my camera? Soliano.co.za. Beautiful t-shirts. I mean, how's the quality?
Yo.
How's the quality? And feel the print. It's a puff, beautiful puff print. They use it. Yeah, color.
Yo.
You know, I'm yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's dope. It's an oversized shirt. You might need to. Is that a large? Perfect. Look at that.
How much do they go per pop?
They go for a small 600.
600. Right?
Yeah, small 600. But the quality is amazing.
Quality is amazing.
Very heavy quality. You can rock it now in winter, rock it in summer, all year round. Amazing. It doesn't shrink, doesn't do anything. There's a special puff print here.
Nice.
You feel good when you're wearing it, man. Because
Bava.
I did these, and then people, you know, started wanting them. I just wear them, and people are like, "Yo, we want these." So, yeah, by popular demand.
Where do we buy them? Your Instagram?
My Instagram, the shop is embedded there on my Instagram. Otherwise, if you don't have Instagram, it's Soliano, Soliano. You'll write it here, .co.za.
Nice one.
Yeah, or whenever you see me at gigs, I always have them. I always have them in my bus as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
People take for granted the income streams that come from selling anything. Whether it's a 10 Rand product or whether it's
enough for me. Let me wear this. It's gonna be big enough.
ukulingana, yeah.
Sure.
Last number there.
Last number Excel.
Double XL there.
This is Excel.
Didn't you come up with a double XL, bro? This is Soul, bro.
The Excel. It's nice.
Guys, this thing.
Yabo, he's one thing.
Ungasho kanjani. That's nice.
Bounce, yabo. Bounce. Ongafuna ukubhatala eMzek's kitchen uhlangana nami. Ngikokotela multicline kuba ikhadi lakho uyafika mina. Yeah. This is dope, man. And you were saying the importance of selling anything.
Yeah, anything. So the next thing, so ngokubona nangibhayisa imofa estradini ngama 10 Rand. You know, like 10 Rand, 20 Rand, 50 Rands there, 100 Rand there, 10, 15, 20 Rand. Before you know it, in less than 2 hours. Now to pay us coming in, we pay 1.8, 2.5.
Yeah.
And abantu sikubhekelela abantu ababhayisayo sibana ke sis kangako. You just think they're making money, bro. Yabona nama sister abhayisa ama plate emarenkeni. They make 3 grand a day, 5 grand a day. Others they make all the way to 10 grand a day.
Lots of money.
Just on a plate.
Yeah. There's a lady who sells on a plate, like Rose Bank. So being no goya, Dala, when we used to be at YFM.
Yeah.
And then I went and just decided to go now recently. And obviously, I was because she cooks better or something.
Yeah.
Which is just the reality of business.
Or but
It was.
It
Was a. So I'm counting about them, and she's selling like the place at like $60 a pop. And I was there for like 15 minutes and it was packed, right? And I'm counting the people. And when you count that money within an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, obviously there's peak periods, lunchtime, but it starts to add up. And you count the days that she's there in a month, it really starts to add up.
Yeah.
It adds up.
So if abantu bangasusa that thing yokuslicer ukupayisa, they can go very far. Because you find that lady makes the money that you earn a month, she makes it in a week. Or even in 3 days.
Is it not pride? A lot of people is pride. They think it's beneath them. They feel like they're begging.
Yeah.
They feel like they need to, because some people, customers will tune your shit and you need to be open to it. Some people, and you need to be open to it as well. And you need to accept it as part of doing it. So a lot of people, apart from Muksaba, there's also an element of pride.
Yeah, I agree. And which was taking me to Soliano. Why Soliano? What does it represent and what inspired you to at least have a match for us?
Like I said, the merch was, so firstly, I used to be a part of the podcast merch. I used to do that. So it's something that I'm familiar with. But there's also, for me, it was a matter of, do you see the problem that we have here? I'm wearing an XL and it's not comfortable. And I don't like wearing things.
Yeah, you like loose.
I like
right?
my more, So what I realized is I wouldn't get a lot of brands locally that, fit me the way I want them. Sometimes I need to get like a 5XL. I won't mention the name of the brand, but there's a brand where I need to get a 5XL. And so I just did it myself, and Soliano, it was based around my kind of, I'm a piano, there's private school, there's so it's Soliano, that's where it comes from. And I'm a musician and a music producer from way back. So in getting these t-shirts that I actually like, I decided, let me put my name on it as well, and my music has always been rooted. I'm rooted. If you know my history musically, I used to do tribal. That's why, this is the first design. There's going to be many designs. There's the hoodies coming up now. It's very tribal, very Afro, and it's people having fun dancing. It encompasses what I'm about and what my music is about and my character, my personality. So for me, it was a gap of, I couldn't find clothes that I really loved, and I noticed that a lot of people loved my t-shirts that I wear. And then what would that do? That would drive sales to other brands, which is fine. If it's a local brand, I'm very happy, But I realized, let me start wearing my stuff and see if there's an appetite for it. And people have been demanding them like crazy. Open Instagram, Soliano t-shirts. When are those Soliano t-shirts dropping? When people see me at gigs, Soliano t-shirts, Facebook fan page, inbox, everywhere. So I was like, you know what? Let me give the people what they want.
You've always been one of those guys. You've done well for other brands. I know you've done well, particularly for Tsepo Jeans. I know you've done well for Veps with Bank.
Veps with Bank, Cultish as well. Yeah, those guys are family, man. I really love their brands as well. Would struggle with some with size, because obviously the average South African is not my size, So I also get it. They serve a market, but lately we're good with Veps. Sizes always on point. Tsepo Jeans now we're good. Cultish has always been a big oversized kind of brand, with oversized t-shirts, clothes. So yeah, man. So I was like, man, and people quite like my style, and I've got some ideas as well, because sometimes you want something and you look and you can't find it. So may as well make it yourself.
So the twins, major league DJs, when they first started out, they used to mix on my Metro FM radio show. And a lot of the current generation, younger guys don't know, actually, major league twins were hip-hop DJs.
Yeah, they were hip-hop DJs, yeah.
And they evolved. They are some of our, if not one of our biggest twin act all over the world.
From piano to
The
New Age Kwaito, remember?
Well, yeah,
they called it New Age Kwaito, and then there was just before, the precursor, just before Amapiano hit, and they joined Amapiano.
It's not easy to do it, but they've been able to evolve into that sound. And I want to ask you the same thing. We know you for tribal, Afro type of house, spiritual type of sound and
Yeah.
house, right? How were you able to succeed in evolving?
For me, it's about embracing, man. For me, firstly, if you're a producer, and dance music is dance music, but for me, it was more about embracing the change in the landscape. And when I was like, okay, if you go the EDM, not EDM, the 3-step, or tech, Afro tech, everybody sort of has embraced the African sound within that space, but Guma Piano, there's been one or two, songs, but no artist has actually said, you know what, I want to have a very, not private school piano is very jazzy, but also I wanted to be very Afro with signs of a bit of tribal that I used to make. So I felt like there was really a gap there, and I was vibing and connecting and seeing where my piano was going, because it was also a decision you make at a time where everybody was like, my piano, you know what I mean? And I was like, nah, actually, you can tell that the sound obviously began as an very instrumental sound. And then there were vocals, but the vocals were just generally party chants, and then it got spiritual, and that's when it really got real. And I could have foretold Wuchi it's gonna expand like with any other genre, because you can't do the same sound. It's like when you're a human, you can't stay in one room. We naturally want to grow. We want to interact with other people, see places, experiences, and music is also like that. So it was at that time, and that's why for me, Amapiano made sense, especially to try and carve a path that isn't there. Unlike going to a space where within a particular sound. Amapiano in a corner, but if you create your own sound, and I think Kelvin Momo has done it perfectly, if you create your own lane, your own sound, people come, man, as long as you love it while you do it, and people can tell when you love something. And that's what makes Podcast and Chill what it is. People can tell these guys are having fun and they love what they're doing, and even with you. And that's why people gravitate towards whatever you do. Yeah.
Faith Mangope, shout out to Faith, one of my mentees.
Shout out to Faith. She revealed her white man. The other day. All of Faith. Whites only. Shout out, Faith.
So back in the day,
Mangope, Tati Lucas Mangope, do you think he'd be proud?
Very.
Tati Lucas Mangope would be proud.
Studio and I'm just so proud of her, everything she's achieved. She does a really hot current affairs show at Metro. When she first came out, I think she was 21 years old. I go to 702. I'm about to start a brand new YFM morning show.
I remember that.
And I go to Reddy, and I'm like, Reddy, with one of the interns here at 702 here at Prime Media, who do you think is fresh blood, who listens, who's smart, whom you think can add value in what I want to go start? I want a young person to come and produce my YFM morning show. But I want them from here at 702.
Why 702?
Because at the time they were known for current affairs and politics, and the young people they were grooming were more inclined with that type of content. And you remember why it was different?
I remember because when you came, I can believe that you went to 702, because you were very current affairs heavy. You even had John Kwelani, who also had a great show, amazing show on 702 in the evenings.
Yeah, so Reddy introduces me to Faith. She says, I've got this new kid. She just came. I'd like to introduce her to her, speak to her and see if maybe she might be willing to join you.
Yeah.
I have a nice meeting with Faith. She was still a student at the time. She was working towards a second degree already at age 21. She's always been bright. Anyway, to cut the long story short, we go to start our morning show. Faith produces it. The one day Faith is not around at work, somebody stands in for her, and that person comes from the Y Academy.
Whoa, yeah.
And that person currently produces my morning show at Radio 2000. And guess what's her name? Nala.
Nala,
yeah.
Nala, she's married. Not Dosa now. She's married, right?
Yeah.
With the whole family and stuff. Great. She was in the same Y Academy as
with you.
In the same Y Academy.
That's what I want to talk about. Y Academy. How did it happen for you?
Ooh, man, Y Academy. So I was at UJFM, right? There was a guy, he's not really part of the story, but I was at UJFM, and there was a program manager at the time, Stefan Borgieter, and was also working with a lady called Mutso.
Also, yeah, like
Yeah. At UJ.
She ended up at Y as well.
Yes, and that's where I'm going. So she was in the first intake of the first Y Academy. Went there and she got a show, right? And so obviously we kept in touch. You always want to graduate from a university radio station to a commercial radio station, and I was in touch with her.
So, okay, there's a UJ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
UJ, Kingsway.
So, Pumara song, and I'm in Pumara. Sure.
Yeah.
But but to say if it's sick.
A panty. I was a panty. A compass I'm a pantu. And so we were in touch, and then she had a breakfast show, weekend breakfast, weekend mornings, 6 to 9. And she had told me that she wants, it's a long story. So we didn't keep in touch, but I knew she was there. And at that time, I used to make music, hip hop beats, particularly. And I had a meeting with Slicker in Rosebank at the exclusive bookstore. There was a Seattle Coffee.
I remember the Seattle
Coffee
at the corner. Next to exclusive books at the corner.
Yeah,
where YFM was, there was a Makip store as well. Next to Codes.
Yeah, exactly. So he said, meet me there. Saturday morning. I'm still a student. Remember meeting Slicker there. And then I remembered Moto's got a show, and I saw Moto, and I went to go greet her. And then she's like, listen, actually, I'm looking for do sports. I'm like, nah, I don't do sports, man. She said, I'm looking for a weekend sports guy. I said, okay, I can do it, because you just want a foot in. As long as I was like, it's all good. I'll be there. Met Tomato Diao. He liked my attitude.
Tumza.
Yeah, shout out Tumza. Shout out to him, man. Met my attitude. And I did the volunteered for like 3-4 months without getting paid. And it was quite hectic because I'm a student. I've got a job at a call center. And sometimes at a call center, you're knocking off at like 5 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning from Woodmead. Call center nucleus.
Oh, no, I don't.
CCN.
Okay.
Yeah, then they became Aegis. They used to be by Woodmead. You see in Woodmead, it's Woodmead Drive.
Yeah.
And then opposite, there's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So opposite McDonald's or KFC, there's a building, a white building. It's pretty much an office park.
Yeah, on your way to Waterfall.
Yes, on your left, yeah. And so it was tricky, but I made it work. They liked me. And then Tumelo, I saw that the Y Academy is happening. I know Muto from the Y Academy. It's the second intake of the Y Academy. I didn't know there was going to be an intake. There was a second intake. I was like, okay, so it's a thing they're going to do now, an internship every year. And I remember I was applying at UJ, at those computer labs. Applying, Tumelo calls and was like, yo, have you heard of the Y Academy? While I'm applying, the program manager's like, yo, give it a shot, try apply. And I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. But I don't tell them I'm actually almost done with my application. So that, I think, made things easier for me. So when I got there, everybody was there, Stefan Porgieter from UJ was there. He now works at YFM. Tumelo was there. He had met me. Tamaria Matsepe, she'd never. Shout out to Tamaria Matsepe with the English accent. Yeah? I don't know. She disappeared.
Samara.
I try to. She's got a locked Twitter. I try to follow her, and she rejected my request. No, but come on, wow. What was reject?
No, I go to reject the same as our former colleague, which is Roseanne Peters at YFM. Incredible colleague of mine right now at Radio 2000. So when Cleo and I arrive at 2000, Cleo stands in for Paul in the afternoon, and he hears Roseanne's voice on air. He gets excited. Yeah, we know each other from Y.
Yeah.
And then he tried to ask the other guys, hey, guys, link me with Roseanne's number. It's like, nah, it ain't that kind of party, bro. She says no. She's married.
So Tamaria was there. Shane Hermanes, remember, the HR guy was there. Kenthan Pillay, the then CEO, was there. And they interviewed me, and I guess I did well. Got into the Y Academy. And that's where, how I got into YFM. And then from there, at that time, you were doing the breakfast show.
Yeah.
And when you left and vacated the breakfast show, Mo Flavor was assembling a team. And I joined him on that show. And I've been on breakfast ever since. Then Fresh hit me up at 5. And then, now we're here at Kaya.
Joe, bro, congratulations. What an incredible career. And maybe
Thank you,
let's rewind.
Yeah.
Before that, I want to hear about the call center job. I want to hear when you were still kelezing and
ufuna ukena kuphi ufisa
No, it's an eye.
ufisa nayo
Just a rewind back to a move of it.
Forsloo. In fact, not Forsloo. Katlehong.
Oh, you're from K1?
Yeah, I'm from Forsloo.
When you're from Forsloo, K1,
Forsloo.
pretty much the same hoods.
I'm from Forsloo, man. No one knows me, K1.
Oh, okay.
Starting Kule was a credit called Mzizi. No one knows me there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no one, like, yeah.
But
If they my age, don't
cheese
know me.
boy.
Not really.
Is
No,
it?
we were staying in a shack.
Oh, okay.
We were staying in a shack, man. We were staying. So my mom left the Eastern Cape, came to Jersey, and she was, I think, 18 or if not 19. Yeah, she had just had my brother at 18. So she came to come work. No, man. How old was my mom? I think she had my brother at 16 and then had him, then came to complete school and work as well to be able to send money back to the Eastern Cape. And then she stayed, wafika, wasorenta emkhukhwini, you know, and then that's where she pretty much met my dad. And then wafika mina, you know. And by the time
So she met your dad Ekuruleni.
Yeah. And my dad is from KZN. Yeah? My mom, no way. So my mom, she had been around, funny enough, because my mom had me at 30.
Oh, 30.
Yeah. So she didn't like fall pregnant at 16 or 18. I think it was 8. She had my brother at 18.
Okay.
Come to think of it. She didn't fall pregnant at 18 and then again at 19. I think she had learned her lesson, you know, and took a while.
Listen, just I like choose. Yeah.
My dad is not even like that guy. My dad is a hardcore like Zulu guy. Yeah. Even worse back then. You know, there was a hardcore Zulu guy from KZN, from Ngwavuma. Sipo Nyao. That's my dad. And they met with my mom. They had me. By the time my mom then had me, she was working admin clerk at a school called Izubugo. In Capo. Yeah. Espreit in Capo. She was an admin clerk.
I visited it. I know it.
Yeah.
I visited almost all the schools.
Oh, yeah. I used to do a school tour, right? And funny enough, I know that you visited a school called Glenbrack.
Yeah.
There's a story, but it's not as deep as I'm making out.
Talk about it, yeah.
No, I'll tell you now.
Yeah,
So by the time I was born, 87, my mom was an admin clerk at Izubugo, and then separated with my dad, 91. So I was born 87, 91, I'm 4. She bought a house of Forsloo. Hence I said, we're Forsloo. I spent 4 years at Katlehong.
Okay.
And then from there, yeah, man, I went to a school called Glenview Primary School.
I know Glenview, yeah.
You know Glenview?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Glenview Primary was in Brackenhurst. You see where Glenbrack is?
Yeah, ngas Alberton.
Yeah, you see where Glenbrack is?
Yeah.
It used to be our premises, Glenview. So yeah, then my mom pretty much is a story. I think it's a very common story. Single mom, hustles, wants the best for his kid, tries to put him through the best schools that she can afford, even though it wasn't much. And literally, like when my mom passed away, I was so shocked, man. Opening.
Passed?
Yeah, 05.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
In 2005.
Oh, bro.
2005.
I'm sorry.
I was so shocked when I opened the payslip and I'm like, damn, how was she doing it, man? You know? How was she doing it? So that's pretty much me, man. And then grade 8 from Glenview, I was meant to go to Bracken High, but there was a whole feeder area thing happening, you know, and as much as Molly a lot, but she didn't think to, you know, fake a proof of address from Alberton so I can get into the school. And then we faced another hurdle. No school would take me, and she'd refuse. I don't know why. Maybe because or maybe she just wants
reasons.
Or maybe, and also she just wants better opportunities for me, you know, which is what I live by with my daughter as well. And then I had to go get into some school, St. Catherine's, and she struggled because it was a private school, so they didn't care with the feeder area thing. But she couldn't afford it, you know. She struggled. It's not a super expensive school, but most South Africans can't afford it. Even today, most South Africans can't like comfortably afford it. She struggled, and then now we got another school, St. Francis, you know. So I think she tried to make me feel better with the Saints. You know what I mean? But when I got there, I was like, no, man, it's not. No, this one. Well, all the white people. But it turns out it was actually an amazing school, you know? Turns out it was an incredible school, bro. It was like semi-private. Shout out to Diet.
Well, all the white people.
No, Because up into school, the white people, since primary, grade 1, grade 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I go grade 9 now, I'm like, hi, man. I see the white
Mara is a saint, man.
but he's saint, but Nakona, even where it was, we shortly moved. Bro, that school used to be by Benoni Station.
Yeah.
Right? And when I got there, I could see, because now I go to St. Catherine's, convent school. You see there's a nun who teaches you religion and stuff. Old building, But now you're born, I'm like, it's an old building, I can see. But hey man, there's no wall, there's a taxi rank here, it's loud as fuck, it doesn't look safe. You know what I mean? It's very dark, it's very dingy. But I've been hearing great schools about this. My mom heard great schools about this school.
Great things.
It's great things. It started as a night school. So Diane Cockcroft, white lady, very passionate about education, educator, started the school, night school. And it was so good. This was in the 80s and early 90s. It was so great that the teachers then were like, the students, Abo Mama and Abo Baba were like, yo, can you teach our kids? You're so good. You taught us these great things in such a short space. Please teach our kids. And there was that demand. And she started that school. And yeah, man, but that year I joined, and one of the reasons my mom was like, okay, you can join, was because they said, no, we're going to leave this building, and then I think they bought St. Dunstan's old building in Benoni, right? St. Dunstan's old building in Benoni, and that's where we went. But an incredible school, bro. Really amazing school. It was known for like 100% matric pass rate for the longest time. Mr. Daines, one of the best maths teachers. I knew he wouldn't last at that school. I don't know where he disappeared off to, but incredible school. Miss Cockcroft now is retired. She lives somewhere in the Karoo. Was it the Karoo? Where did rich people go?
George.
Not George.
By the garden route, not that
Yeah,
side.
by the garden route. Nice now.
The nice now, yes.
now. Yeah, she lives
That's a
in
Port
Nice now.
Alfred, yeah.
Yeah, she lives in Nice now. She's retired, but the school, St. Francis College in Benoni, is still going strong. So that's pretty much me, man. And then there, I fell in love with rap, music. In fact, rap, I fell in love with it when I was still at Glenview in primary school. And yeah, my music journey began there. Shout out to Sabelo, what's Sabelo's surname? He gave me like Fruity Loops. He was the kid, the computer kid. Yeah, FL Studio, Acid. There was
Before they called it
a song.
it was Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops.
The full name.
Yeah, man. So that's pretty much my childhood, man. Kid who just loved hip hop, loved music, I didn't love school, but there was pockets of school. There were pockets of school. No, listen. There were pockets of school that I loved. I loved English. Shout out to Mr. Barnett. May his soul rest in peace. He was the English teacher. He saw that I'm actually, good, with this English thing, whatever we do, creative writing and, oral work, speeches, etc. And he pushed me as well. Shout out to Mr. Nkambule, business economics teacher. And yeah, man, Mr. Moyo, maths science teacher. So there were subjects that I really did enjoy and really loved. Miss MacG in Glenview Primary, she made me fall in love with maths. And then Mr. Daines at St. Francis, he was amazing too. So pretty much a decent kid, well-behaved, rough around the edges, loves hip-hop, sags his pants, but good head on his shoulder, stays out of trouble. Ebenisha as well, girls as well. I was Ebenisha big time. Big time. And I say it with my chest, and I tell any kid even now, like, there's so much time for women, you know what I mean? And the sad thing is, there's a little time actually for women, because it's like almost at varsity, but you gotta study. Once you're out of varsity, you can't have time for women because you realize that they want you. It's easier when you're successful. So you're trying to chase that success. And the older you get, you realize there's not really enough time. You only need one, you know what I mean? Just to settle with and help you focus on other stuff. But there's lots of time to do adult things, and so bring the kwababa, and I think it saved me from a lot of trouble. And yeah, most of my time dedicated it with my friends and either rapping, freestyling, and then when I left the rap, it became music production, and that's literally.
So you were rapping as well?
I used to rap, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just...
When I made stethoscopes, Tay.
Yeah.
By the way, Tay is he did Remember When It Rained with you. Yeah. So I was looking for a studio to record. Tay recorded my first demo ever in his bedroom studio. So
You were rapping on that
stethoscope.
You were rapping?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Hey man, I used to be a great rapper, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I used to be a great.
Stand out.
No, I can't rap now. Now when you rap, now, hey, you know Smooth rap on Squatter Camp. Smooth rapped on Squatter Camp on the Manisa remix. Yeah, I was like, niggas know what I had to do just to get here. I took 2 taxis or whatever. He was rapping on. yeah. Niggas don't know what I had to get to just to rap this shit. I remember that verse, Casituan on my ears, and then Smooth comes. People don't know you really love
upstairs.
Yeah, and the guys who were producing for Abo Slick, a semitone, were friends with Stethoscope. They all went to Germiston High together. So yeah, man, I was a very good kid. I don't want to lie. I was a really good kid. Stayed out of trouble. Those who knew me knew that I'm this guy. Those who didn't know me would think, oh no, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't for everyone in the hood. And it was a time whereby bakubisa ngephutshwa or ngeniga, you know what I mean? And then there was this guy, I remote states more, and there was that kind of energy, you know, and you were just that kid who goes to school in Sabilu, Musabongabla, and not a lot of people really try to understand you, but the guys that you grew up with, still know you, you know, but the people moving into the hood are like, what's going on? But generally a good kid, man. And that's pretty much my childhood. I'm trying to summarize it. Yeah.
And big up to Uma Oledi. I mean, how old were you when Umama passed?
I was 18.
May her soul rest in peace. What did that do to you? Take me through that process.
Man, I'm so blessed, bro. I was 18 and I'm lucky because my old lady, man, I don't know how I survived, bro. It's just through God and prayer, bro. I didn't necessarily go through a depression or wanting to harm myself or not having a desire to live, you know? I've always been a very pragmatic and logical person. So to me, it's always been like, hey, what if I passed away, you know? Would she handle it? You know what I mean? I don't think she would. And it's a natural progression. And we're all going to lose our parents.
What happens? Are you at school? Do you get a call?
I'm in grade 11. Oh, you want to know the story?
Yeah, man.
Oh, good story.
And you know why? Story. You know why I want us to tell it? Because I can imagine how many people out there. You know what I mean?
A good story, man. It was such a confusing story. So, my old lady got ill. Eventually went to hospital. She didn't want to go to hospital. You know. Well, they didn't want to go to hospital. I say, hamba lapa sibona some prophet. You know, she's drinking whatever. I want to know she's really sick now, you know. Then eventually went to the hospital. There's a private school, a private hospital for Butilong.
Yeah.
Empilweni Butilong, yeah. Lapha Marimba, a spot. And she was there for 2 weeks maybe, and so I'm in grade 11 now. So I'm no longer using Simon Express. That was the bus transport. I'm now using taxis. I'm grown up now, you know. Taxis, call spot. Go see her, and she's cool. You know, we talk, whatever. The one time I go see her, and my old lady is in a coma now. You know, she's in a coma now. She's not responsive. Damn. And that's when it didn't hit me that she might pass away, but it was like I've never seen her like this. You know, when you see somebody who's been your cornerstone and your strength, and you see them totally not themselves, a shadow of themselves, it breaks you, you know? Remember, man, holding in the tears, I think Petum Kamo, my figure, toilet, he just cried, you know? Like, it was bad. Obviously, don't want to cry right in front next to her, she can hear you, and you know, and it'll break her as well. And I went to see her. She was cool-eyed, and I know there was some family dynamics. My mom didn't want certain people to come see her because of, family beefs, And I remember when those people now got told when it got serious, they were like, why am I still go to Olivia? And I was like, well, she didn't want to see you. And it's my mom. I'm not gonna take my mom who's sick now in hindsight on her deathbed, call the very same people who are gonna who caused her heartbreak, because I knew the stories of betrayal and where it started. Anyway, that to the side. She was in that state for 2-3 days. And then the one time I remember coming back, from Pinoni, shiny lightning and or something else. And I'm like, okay, strange. But I feel like it's... So my brother and I are estranged. Hey, that's another story. So my brother, at that time, he's in prison. Yeah, at that time, my brother was in prison, man. For another case, he was in prison. He had been, I think, a year or so in prison in the Eastern Cape. So my brother, really loved the Eastern Cape, Came this side. Josie didn't really work for him. He was never really a Josie guy. Preferred that side. Even now, he lives in the Western Cape. Last time I spoke to him, which was last year, he was in the Western Cape. No, this year, January. He was in the Western Cape. So my brother's not around. It's just me. It's pretty much been always me and my mom. Like I said.
So your brother here is
my brother and I, we've got like a 12-year gap.
Oh,
yeah, there's a 12-year gap.
So
now he's 50 now.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, my brother's 50 now. So, yeah, man. Come back that day. Hi. Now they've moved to Maulidi, She's no longer in the ward with everybody else. She's in her own ward, And to get there, I remember her colleague, because she worked as a book till she passed away. He was a teacher, they had a clique of friends. They were all teachers, stayed around Forslow, a lot of them. And yeah, man, hey, I'm seeing different room, She's gotten worse a bit. And I remember talking to her, and then a tear dropped. And she was not responding, just face closed. And yeah, she had, now, hey, it got complicated, Then I knew that, this is not good. This is not good at all. Then I leave, go home, do my homework. It rains hard, lightning as hell. Do my homework. This is like 7 p.m. now. Then I get a call. I answer the call. It's my cousin, Gatlego, cousin from Esprit. Umagogo heard, came. Umagogo bagathi, why ngangitshelanga ukuthi, old lady, yeah, no. But funny enough, when she was, for the past week and a half, I was by myself, because I'm 18, So I finished school.
So you used to just live with your mother,
Yeah.
Sure.
And abantu basemarumini abarentile abaqashile eJardini, Yeah, I was 18 in grade 11. I finished school at 19. So when I went from Izubugo, so my mom worked at Izubugo, and then ngangena khona, and then bazama ukungibridgisa at some crash in Alberton, preschool in Alberton. Bangishayisa nge-crash course. Bangishayisa nge-crash course. Ngafika eGlenview kumele ngiye grade 2, because umenzi look grade 1 eZubuko. At Glenview, they took me back to grade 1. They said, no, man, he can't even speak English, this guy, Took me back to grade 1. But my mom consented, because they said, look, he could struggle, or maybe could possibly fail, or take him back to grade 1. So that's how I ended up finishing school at the age of 19 instead of the usual 18. So, I was 18. I stayed by myself when my mom was sick. But generally, I've never lived by myself, unless my mom is going to the Eastern Cape to a funeral or whatever. Anyway, I get a call that night. Gatlego calls me, He's calling to send his condolences. So my mom passed away, and I think she was probably holding on till I see her after school. You know, she was fighting. And in hindsight, I realized she was probably holding on till she saw me. I spoke to her, you know, told her how everything is. And obviously, I'm not speaking like these are my last words. I can't even remember what I said. But it was something sentimental. It's your mom, you know? And yeah. So with that tear down her right eye, I think it was just her right cheek. It was a goodbye. And so when I left, my granny came. Funny enough, and they weren't on speaking terms, but after my granny came, that's when she passed away. Because here's what happened. Katlego calls me to say, hey man, sorry about your mom. Then I'm like, oh yeah. She's getting worse, man. You know, it's not good. She's getting worse, but she'll pull through. With our loved ones, we never really, especially when you're that young, we never really concede that there's a possibility of death. I was like, she's getting. He's like, oh, you haven't heard. You know, it was like, ish. So now he has to break the news, or he's broken the news already, you know? Yeah, and then, you know, the crying. Amarumin buying is abakashi sabazo lintuza manje, you know, to say, hey, so patale red, relax. No, I'm kidding. They come to check out what's wrong with this guy, you know, and yeah, and I told them. So here's how I know she passed after my mom, my granny left. My granny, I feel. You know, when you've been crying, your face is, you know, it's swollen, it's puffy, your eyes are red, bloodshot. And she's like, why have you been crying? What's wrong with you? You know? And now I'm so confused, and I'm in this emotional place where I just found out my mom passed away. Here's my granny young Tetisa that, why am I crying? And I'm telling her, then she's like, no such. Then I'm like, no. Then I'm telling her, like, no such. And it was such a weird thing. Because then I saw people started coming, you know? Then I'm hearing about Makoba Umutishera, who lived not far from us, worked with my mom as well. He was the guy with the car. So whenever I needed to go, I remember I used his Corolla to go to my matric dance the following year. And yeah, man, and you know, then it soon sunk that, oh, okay. You know, she's no more. When you're hearing funeral arrangements, Lando Istumbu. And that's the only thing I hated was the confusion there. And no one even said, hey, yes, it did happen. Because I think my granny even forgot to tell me because she was so emotional. It's her firstborn child. And they had an amazing relationship till things turned sour. Very, very sour. Very sour, bro. Very sour. Oh, yeah. But it was cool, man. And then, yeah, man, that's how I found out she passed away. And then subsequently, I didn't really go into a depression or into. I mean, it was sad. You know, I've always been a loner. I think you just become a loner. You are able to just be by yourself because school holidays. My mom was at school working as an admin clerk. There's a whole lot of things to be done there. You know, about the shadow. They're still in school. She comes back at around 6, 7 o'clock. I'm alone after school, and I think till today that's why I'm such a loner, you know. I mean, I've just always been that guy, so I just got very secluded and became even more, you know, reclusive into myself. You think a lot, man, you know, about life and accepting life, but I was just fortunate. Like I said, I've always been a good kid. I never became weird, you know, as a response of losing a parent. And look, we grieve differently. And unfortunately, I wasn't by myself. My granny came to live with me, and I love my granny. My granny was always my granny, whatever with my mom and her is out, you know. And my granny came, man, to stay. It was an adjustment, but it wasn't that bad of an adjustment. You know what I mean? You just needed to get used to chickens in your living room, you know, because and the chickens would come, and she didn't mind, you know, the chickens would come. Well, she did mind, but I'd just get annoyed, you know, and it was just minor adjustments. Her food was a bit bland. My mom was a better cook, but otherwise the love, there was no deficit of any love, you know, shown. My granny just showed me all the love, man. She really stepped in, you know, and yeah, I had great friends, you know, Ste, Sbu, Stan, Sikhe. I had an amazing support structure, because it was the first time that happened, even within my friendship circles. Lucky, they still even have all their moms, but they were so supportive. They were there, bro. I didn't feel that gap. You always feel the motherly gap, but you don't feel like you're alone, Uintandane manje, But it's so intanda, and I never felt like that. Plus, fortunately. And also, I was just counting the blessings of having been with my mom. We were very open, I remember me getting her accustomed to me saying, I love you, And with black parents, it's strange, The love is the warm plates, it's the food, it's the school you go to, it's the nice clothes you wear. But I started saying that, and I think it was all for a reason, because in hindsight, I always used to reflect, like, she saw me shape into becoming a man, obviously she's not around for me to spoil her, but she saw what she had done a great job, and I'm just grateful for having that time with her, because some people lose their moms at a very early age. I dated someone once who only knows her mom from a picture. You know what I mean? And people always say, you look like your mom, etc. So you also then just look on the bright side and count the blessings. But yeah, man, it's not easy. And you almost never heal from losing a mom. And I just want to tell anybody out there, you never heal. If you haven't lost a parent yet, especially a mom, you never heal, but you manage to go on. And I say you never heal because you heal enough to live a healthy life, for it not to cripple you. But it's always there, It's always there. There are always milestones and moments, where you're like,
I wish my mom.
I wish my mom was here. Are you proud of me? And then there's moments where you're like, do you see how bad life is? Are you disappointed as well? Because you ask those questions as well. So it's almost like Islanda that you live with,
Oh,
yeah,
that's the way. It's Londa that you live with. And I don't know what happens to people when they're about to pass. My mom tells me a story. So with you, my grandmother, before she passed, she was in hospital. She had been sick for quite some time. But up until she saw me as a little baby, up until she saw me, she passed. My father was in hospital for 3 weeks. And geez, he went through the most. My father was diabetic. And
my mom as well.
Up until I brought my daughter in that hospital room in his deathbed, up until he saw my daughter.
Wow.
The following day in the morning, he passed. I don't know what it is, but it's like when they're in hospital or in their deathbeds, and it's like they're not gonna go up until this situation happens or this.
Can't explain it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and people say things like, when somebody passes on, somebody else in the family is getting born or something like that. I just don't know the connection, but I also don't know. Abantu nabashona ukuthi kwenzakalani kwenziwa yini ukuthi bathi umuntu uthe bekamele ukubona umuntu othile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm also glad that your mother got to see, your grandmother got to arrive in Joburg before you know.
Because of Polar Park, she was around. She was in Joburg all along.
Oh, okay.
So my grand came. So my granny, my granny, my granny and my grandfather, man, they divorced. They were like in their 70s, I don't know, it's the strangest thing ever. It was Kelly Middlelands, and they divorced, and my mom then ekaya marumin. So she built a room for umakoko, to come move her things and to live there as well, so that she can have her own privacy, when that happened, then my cousin lost his mom, and then my granny then left to go stay with my cousin. So my granny had been around. My granny was like in Joburg. She came to Joburg. She was a domestic worker. She was here since she was like 18. And yeah, she's been around. So and then she got her own place. Then she got her own place at Polar Park, and that's where she was. And she was always like 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. Polar Park Force, yeah.
I heard you say LA Tamalako Bugunyao. but your surname is Penduka.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Tell me about the surnames.
That's my mom. That's my mom's surname, man. You know.
Okay.
He didn't do the things. No, he didn't do the things.
Do you think about those things? Is your father still around?
I think about them a lot, man. My dad is still around, man. Hey, it's time, man. Dad, hey.
Did he make it to your mom's funeral?
He did. Yeah,
Okay.
my dad, yeah, definitely did.
Did you ever chat with him? Have you ever had one of those deep chats with him?
No.
Okay.
He tried to do it. He botched it. He bottled it. He tried to do it, but he was so aggressive and I wasn't having it. He tried to do it shortly afterwards. But his approach was, why wang tanti kind of thing, And if you want to tell that to a 19-year-old boy, 20-year-old boy, who also feels some kind of way about you because he saw his mom struggle, as much as my dad was not rich at all, but like, I know the goings of courts, back and forth to courts, just to get him to pay school fees, just a bit of maintenance, a bit of assistance where he can. Like I said, my dad was not a rich man, and it's not a guy who I wanted his money. To me, it was the love and just be there, but also I stopped when I realized what was going on. And my mom, it wasn't a situation where he doesn't have access to me. The door was always opened. Ekredi lapho besihlala khona, Espredi. The church is up the road. Yeah? It's a Methodist church up the road. So he was still staying there. And I, as a kid, every Sunday, because my dad was my hero, I'd want to go see my dad. And my mom would say, come, take a taxi from Vosloo to Espredi, spend the whole day with my dad. My mom will come, go to Wanora, her cousin, chill, would leave at 5 just because I'm with my dad. School holidays, I'm going to go see my dad, spend time. He bought me my first bike. One of the fondest memories I have, him teaching me how to ride a bike. A kid loves the time I like. And, but then you see your mom struggle and you hear what he did. I don't want to go into it, because I've got sisters, he's got kids, they're going to watch this, but just, we then became estranged. When I started growing up, realizing, hey, it's time, man, hey, Lino Busler, you know what I mean? Lino Busler. And we never had that conversation, that deep conversation. I'm a man now. Maybe I should initiate it. The one time I was ready to initiate it, he called, but the call wasn't the call I was expecting. It was a different kind of call, and that also put me off a bit.
Is this when you're already famous?
Yeah. My dad has called me like maybe 3-4 times. He called me, maybe obviously to arrange to come see me, when then he said, why don't I like him? And then he once called when I passed matric, to congratulate me, but he was also a bit in disbelief, that I did it. But I think he's got his own reasons for that, and they didn't come from a bad place. It was great, cool. And then, last time I spoke to him, the call wasn't the call I expected, and we've just pretty much, I love him from a distance, he loves me. But so the reason I use my mom's surname is the things weren't done. The traditional things as well weren't done. I don't know what the situation was exactly. Like, hey man, it's just a situation that I think about a lot, especially now as a dad. Like, hey, so, and because the story. So when my mom passed away, hey bro, so when my mom passed away, she was trying to fix the surname situation, hers, because hers also needed to be fixed, and that's the one that I use. So it's not even like a thing that begins with my mom. I shouldn't even be using the one that I use, but we are using it. It's been like that, without getting into the details, So my mom was trying to fix that, but I mean, I made it this far with the surname, So I've always been very apprehensive to just change things Because some people change things and their fortunes change, especially when they say, I'm going to use now the correct one or the one that's meant to be correct, and then things don't work out. So, I mean, if we've gotten this far, because if I need to change it now, it wouldn't even be to my dad's. It would be the one that I'm meant to use, that my mom was working on changing. So my mom was the firstborn child, and she was a girl, but the way she moved, the way she moved, man, you'd swear my mom was like a man. She even like, isn't those a scene too? She was the one who did it. I didn't see her siblings do them, to be honest. The youngest one, my uncle, really also started doing them. But everybody else, and this is the truth, and that's just my mom, how she's always been. So that's the one thing I wish she lived long enough to fix. Yeah. So even now, man, I'm still in talks and we're trying to fix that thing. Because that's the one thing I can fix. As for my dad, it's things he needs to do.
I understand. So the more we get older, when our parents pass on, we don't have the answers because they're no longer around to give us the right answers. We are blessed to still have their siblings to give us the history of where we come from.
Yes.
Or what should happen.
Yes.
Kodwa ngesintu bathi umuntu nomuntu uphuma esendeni laka babu wakhe laka yise.
Yeah.
So the mother will carry you for 9 months. And, that maternal love, that nurturing, kodwa uphume esendeni lo muntu othile. So lo muntu ophuma kuyena, even if they did not lobola your mother, even if they did not pay damage, even if they did not do the right things or even marry your mother, which is not exactly what happened with my biological father. When that person passes on, it even becomes even more difficult because they're no longer around. And there's things that they were supposed to have fixed. It doesn't matter the relationship that you guys might have had.
Doesn't matter who's wrong.
Doesn't matter whether you like them or you don't, or who's wrong, or maybe whatever the history.
I love my dad, by the way. I love my dad.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All of that doesn't matter. What matters is the DNA.
Yeah.
Uphume esendeni lakhe. So even if angafuni ukukwenzela izinto, athanda noma angathandi, kodwa khona izinto ekumele zenzeke. Whether ulimpedi, ulimutswana, kapa umusotho, umzulu, ngumxhosa, umndebele, okusala umuntu omnyama, and you are from that man's seed. So when you are from that man's seed, if he's no longer around, just like me, uyangibona ngishaya iphandla no? If he's
Spude small, ngiyabona. Zingaki. Spude small, zingaki.
Z3, no?
Z3, yeah.
And I'll explain them properly. That's why
I was on to ask, but I don't want to disturb
book
you.
And I wanted to release the book, but all these things have just been happening. I'm like, no, these things have to be in my book. So that's why I'm delaying releasing the book, because I really want to explain these things as best as I can, what I'm going through. I'm also not somebody who's 60 or 70 who understands these things better, but I'm just explaining my own experiences. Itamalam is no longer around. Itamalam didn't pay. This is my biological father I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's up.
No. My biological father unkosi.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so I was brought up by a stepfather, which is Ntateleope, who married my mother.
Oh, wow.
So Ubaba Nkosi
When you were young, yeah.
So manje they're no longer around, both of them. Ubaba Nkosi akasekho, le Ntateleope asale khona. Ntateleope, I'm the man that I am because of him. Because we rapile le namane. He married my mother with me.
Yes, yeah. That's what you do when you marry a woman with a child.
Yeah, and then he brought me up, right? So that's another conversation for another day. That's why I'm always against people who discourage people from having stepfathers. And I'm like, and I understand why people don't want to take in other men's children. But anyway, what I want to say is, because in
and it's not for everyone. Not all men are built and are able to do that.
Yes.
Some
and
are
you're correct.
Some are called for that.
So this man not only did not marry my mother, he did not even pay damage and all these things. So when he's no longer around,
of course.
And as he passes, even his other brothers, if they're no longer around as well, or if they're no longer around, all of them, it even becomes more complicated for you. So now you're still in a very good space because your father is still alive. So now, umela patalin tlaulo. There's other people.
Oh, my dad doesn't do the traditional stuff.
And I understand that.
He doesn't believe in tradition.
And I know there's people who don't.
At all.
Kodwa. you have to consult with your elders, even if it's his elders, his elder brothers, or you need to understand. There's certain things you need
I'll
to understand.
find somebody. Yeah,
You have to
yeah.
have those conversations with them.
Yeah, man.
You can't just let it by and be like, no, he doesn't believe in those things. No, it's fine. I'm good with this surname. My life is going great. I'm not experiencing any negative. I've done this far.
I feel like it's and this is like an honest question, and
Yeah.
everything you've said, and this is not a rebuttal or a challenge to what you've said. This is just me expressing how I feel. I feel like it's going to be a betrayal as well, you know? But then again, because as much as they've said, now the small listen, you know, I still feel like, damn, it becomes a betrayal. Because when we are here on earth, we don't know that we are getting the blessings from. You know, we'll get them from,
what's your proper DNA? Your father, the father that gave birth to you. Let him.
Yeah. Hey, when you say it like that, Nash. Yes. No. I'm listening. No. I'm sharing my. I'm not, like I said, I'm not challenging what you're saying. I'm just saying it feels like that, and like you said, when things. Also,
You know what?
It's more has changed.
Sure.
But
Sorry, and I'm not saying change is wrong.
Yes, and life happened. And at that moment, I could have gone, yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, but then sometimes there's no accountability in saying that, because we know what decisions. I could have done this better, that better. I could have been more disciplined with these and these things. And you fix those and you see
it's
your
not
life
about you
change.
doing well or not.
No, I'm saying to some people, they're led to doing that by adversity.
Okay, no,
Yes, some people are led to doing that by adversity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? An example. Because maybe things, and they trying to seek. In show, kumbule kaya, where people be like, isn't etc.
Most people is about adversity. But,
yeah, it's about. I even know someone who changed this ball when things were going bad, and they got worse. They did the right thing, though. Don't get me wrong. This is the wrong thing. They did the right thing, and things got worse. So sometimes, sometimes to ruffle up the hornet's nest.
Sometimes it's not about there's something called that English generational. It's not like grand izinto, but still awuspanisa isibongo sethama lakho. But kumele ukhumbule nawe no uyithama uzoba nengcosi. And congratulations.
Thank you.
And the more you don't.
It's a birthday on Saturday.
Oh wow! Happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday, like turning 7. Yeah,
that's your
yeah.
Birthday is part. Well done.
Thank you. That's more.
Very proud of you, bro. So, itime nalipoda ungazilungisanga lento lezi kuba wes. So, noma ngabe ungana relationship egrand naye manje, find a way yokukhuluma le conversation deep.
Ne?
Naye. Nokuthi understand eze umbuze le mibuzo difficult, uplome naye umbuzo. Sengiyithime nami.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to pay my dad a visit.
Sure.
On Sunday, I'm planning on hiking with my
Do
daughter.
it, bro. Do it.
I think we'll do it maybe on Monday. Yeah, because I'm still have a great relationship with my sisters. Utando, Kainsane, I talk to them, you know, I've got their numbers. Eldest brother from dad's side, Okayo, you know, he loves me to bits, man. Sadly passed away many years ago, you know, but I still have a great relationship with them. Yeah. So I could always easily just pick up the phone and call my dad and we'll have this conversation. Yeah. But thanks. I'm actually, next week, I'll watch podcasts and chill. I'll talk about it. I'll go see my dad.
My first
we'll have that conversation.
Daughter, as much as ngaltrowanga oled lakhe, ngihafile inhlawulo. And as much as ngaltrowanga oled lakhe, because ngihafile inhlawulo ngiyangavunyelwa abantu abadala ukuthi angasispanisa isibongo sami.
Yes.
Because my intentions were clear at the time.
So yes.
So sesibongweni sami noma ngabe ngamtrowanga.
What's this? Uliope or Unkosi?
Uliope. Yeah, so I'm trying to go there. So njoba mina ngilungisa into sami nesibongo sami and mina because ubaba Uliope ungikhulisile ngizosithatha isibongo sakhe ngihambe naso. abanye abantu basishintshe
Mara i-DNA ithini yona? Isende.
isende
Lo
unkosi.
qhamela umamakho. Lo qhamela umamakho. No.
No, don't worry, I get it. I get it.
There's somebody watching this who's asking. There's somebody watching this who's asking this question.
Yes.
So I'm not asking it to be funny.
Nkosi.
Yes.
No, I know. Babu Nkosi.
Yes.
Right? So njoba ngiqeda nomsebenzi lo
Oh yeah.
This is only 2 weeks old. This is last week. So now kind of ngisavanye home affairs ngiyolungisa izinto. So isibongo saka Lope ngihamba naso. So ngizoba i-double barrel. Usibusiso Lope ka Nkosi.
Yes, like
Ngoba ngwaka yeah.
Yes.
Silo make ka.
On tate Jerry Machet.
Yes.
Jerry Macheta wa Jerry Mukwena wa Machet.
Yeah, uyangithola ne?
Yes.
So when that happens, you need to remember it doesn't affect you alone anymore. It's about your kids. It's even about lefro wena ozoyitroa. Because na yena umtroa into zakhe imele yonke indawo.
Yinto engisabayo. No, I would kusaba ukwenza, ngisaba ukuthi fangilungisi. Some of these things zwela manje abantwana zwela nomntana abantu omthathile.
Yabona. So the conversation wena kumele we have in a time is not about you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ooh.
It's not for you. True. It's for the people that rely on you having that conversation.
Yes.
Because the longer you deny it, the longer you delay it, and you don't have it because of whatever issues are there, I was tidy when
Everything
even your
else.
future wife and your future unborn children.
So what is it looking now? What is it looking like? Now it's gonna be Sol Penduga Ganyao.
No, humble ring on the time alako.
Sol Penduga Ganyao. I think Calipola. Sol Penduga Ganyao. Sol Penduga Ganyao. I think Kwetla, Sol Penduga Ganyao. Oh wow, man. Hey man, it's so fascinating. But you know what? I think it starts with that conversation. Number one, just a human conversation, a man-to-man human conversation with a timer. Just about before we even get to that, just the conversation. And I can't just get them like, yo, it's Tina's ball on time, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's just there's so much. When
Umkhulu. And now Umkhulu he's got a grandchild that he also needs to see.
Oh yes. Hey, umkhulu, time umkhulu. Yo, usisi wami ke wangithumela isithombe sakhe man. What yo man, bayikhehla lethu silingakanani. Yo, umkhulu man. Hey, I need to have a conversation, man, with the old man. I really do, bro. I really do. And you're right. It's also for peace sake, for my peace, you know. Yeah, we'll get to it as well and everything else, but just for peace, so that the day Allah or Lale, depending on Lalabani first, we have peace, you know. Inclusive rights. Even though, like I said before earlier on, that I love my dad, always will love my dad. But we need to, and there's also other things that are happening in my life right now, which are very important. And he needs to be, to be aware and possibly a part of those things. So yeah, man, I need to talk to my dad. I need to, yeah. And he's not even far from me. Last time it was like, well, from a forced I'm not a forced anymore, but like he's not far from me. I'm always seeing my daughter in the East Rand, he's in the East Rand. So yeah, man, I'll actually call my Utando, my sister, after this, and I need to talk to my dad.
Proud of you for the commitment at the gym, bro. And we were at the gym together yesterday.
Yeah, we were. Yeah,
I walked in and I literally was treadmilling right next to the treadmill you were in.
Yes.
And we've been speaking about doing this for quite some time.
For a while, man. Yesterday,
we
really finalized it yesterday. Yeah.
So what I wanted to say to you was, and it's so crazy because so which days are you cool? And then you. And this was his own.
Yeah.
And you're like, we did this today. So I wanted to say to you, sometimes uNkulunkulu works in mysterious ways.
Definitely.
Mhlambe for you to be even forced, it needed this conversation.
And what if he's not well? What if the days? Because I just thought about that now. I'm like, hey,
that's why I need to. Your story was so emotional. It's my first time seeing you. Get like that in your face, talking about your mother, but just see
man.
the amount of love that you had for my lady. And if you still have your parents alive, even if you don't have a great relationship with them anymore, no matter what happened between them and your mother or them and your father, I think they do deserve a conversation. No matter because other people that are really in bad terms with their parents. Sometimes it's not you, it's probably them. But you need to have those conversations. So I guess today's episode was pretty much more about that, not necessarily about the culture, the entertainment industry. I love soul, and I'm so proud of everything is achieved. And I really think this is what this conversation was about. It opens up for our next conversation in the future.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be back. And I feel like, and that's the beauty of conversations, right? They take their own form. And if this was meant to be about that, there's somebody else out there who needed to hear this conversation. Because, Mzansi, well, the world over, there are always these situations, baby daddy, baby mama, this, that, absent dads, ibongo, whatever, beefs and quarrels, and. So I think it's a very... It's a conversation a lot of people need. And some people may not be ready for it today when they watch the episode, but when they grow older and wiser, and that's the beauty of the internet and having these things, So, and shout out to you, man, because I remember we spoke briefly at the gym, not yesterday, but many other moons ago about your journey. I think we was expanding and you were telling me. So, yeah, man, it's beautiful, man. Even you as a Grotman, from the DJ Spoo, and it's obviously your evolution and your growth that we knew, knickknacks, outfits, violence,
Next thing is for the second time today. Even on the radio, Manus Kevin.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, to see the evolution of, from a very ostentatious and flamboyant, Spoo, which we drew inspiration from as well. Because, we saw that a black kid could aspire to wanting nice things, but to also this Spoo as well, very rooted and pushing, the amasigo and the conversation around that. It's beautiful, and shout out to your platform, man.
Yeah, shout out to you, man. Thank you for you guys being an inspiration in this space for all of us. You guys are showing us what's possible. You keep on breaking boundaries.
Thank you.
And we love you. Keep doing what you do, bro. You're an incredible dude. Every time you walk into the gym, your energy is amazing. You can just see how you impact people without even you realizing it. And I'm just so proud of you to see you're the man that you've become.
Thank you, Dasbu. Thank you, sir.
I'd love to have you again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. About other things. We can talk anytime, man. I'm a friend of the show here. Sekaya. Yeah, anytime.
Your boy.
Yeah, but on that day.
He's there for the second time. He's coming back for that time. Can you believe that the last time we had that other conversation is already almost 2 years ago, if not 3?
Which conversation?
Me, myself, Penyo.
Oh, damn, I remember. Yeah, shout out to Black Pens. He went on to do great things, man. Yeah. Love Paternal, big time, man. Always follow him on Twitter. So he missed this. He was saying 50K is enough to have a housewife, and the whole and a whole lot of people are like, it's not. Which is like, hey, man, Twitter standards, right? And the people are like, no, your wife is unemployed. She's not a housewife. And I was like, no, that's nonsense. But he's a very practical, pragmatic, super smart guy, and I wish people could listen to him. There's some things he say that, can be outlandish. But for the most times, he says things and they inspire thinking. Yeah. And they want you to think, and that's what he is, a thinker who will stand on his own with his own thoughts. Yeah. And a lot of people don't have their own thoughts. People don't even realize, Yeah. They just will echo whatever they heard somewhere and, carry and run with it till you interrogate it and you realize not even the person's thoughts. So shout out to Black Pen, man.
And you said it from then when you first met him, when you came to the show with MacG.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, because that show was like 2 or 3 years ago to the team, what we're going to do, we're going to grab a clip or two from that old episode with myself, Pen, him and MacG on the show. We'll maybe put the clip at the beginning of this episode. So
for real? Oh,
yeah, like just some sort of a rewind.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection on Pen mostly, that he's been consistent. He's that guy. He's his own man, and he lives in it, and it's beautiful to see. So yeah, shout out to Pen, man. And 50K is enough for a housewife. It depends what kind of life, you know what I mean? But you want to live, and it's not going to be poverty life, it's going to be an okay life. You know, it's enough, man. People must stop with this pressure.
Yeah,
Feel that pressure.
I think one of our sisters, I think a celebrity, I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago, she said she gets girlfriend allowance 50K. So if Penuel says it's enough for a housewife, what does that mean? Girlfriend allowance or housewife?
This 50K, hey guys, it's not. Chiggy chiggy. Hey, it's to the standards, smooth. Chiggy chiggy. That Porsche that we saw, there's fraud involved. The Porsche, there's fraud, and then how the Porsche, but this is to the standards, you know?
Yeah.
Nah, man, guys, to each their own, but if somebody says this is enough for me, you can't say no, it's not. Just think about it practically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much is a house? Where? How much is school fees? How much do you really need to live and have a good life with your family? Spend time with your kids. So you're not running around doing all sorts of other things. And it's enough. Context.
Yeah,
You know, I think context and preference.
Love you, bro. Last words to the hustlers over there.
Yo, Buffet too. Last words. Damn, man. Yo. Hey, man, I'm not good with these last words things, guys, you know? Put your best foot forward. Stay true to yourself. Things sometimes are not good. The economy is not great. Always try improving on yourself. Read. Better yourself, man. I've joined the gym. Stay healthy, you know? Wealth is health. Health is wealth. And just do your best in life, positivity, positive outlook, man. You know, the next episode we'll talk about when I was down, super fucked bad in life. But things that carried me were those, you know, reading, keeping fresh, staying true to yourself, staying out of trouble, and trying to be positive as much as you can.
Thank you very much for tapping into not an easy space to speak about in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Hey, man, we hear what
you went there. You spoke about it, and thank you for opening up. No, because I know you are healing a whole lot of other people out there.
Bro, we live once, man. We live once, you know, and we're blessed to have these mics and cameras and to share. Because what we're going through is not unique to us. You know, a lot of experiences. All experiences are not unique to you, man. You know what I mean? So all we can do is open up. We're human. You know, some things happen to us. We didn't create them. They are happy. These are environments and situations we find ourselves. So why would I take the burden of, you know, hiding it? Because it's not my fault. You know, some things happen. And sometimes when it is, you're showing that you're also human. So let's just be transparent, man, you know? If we're transparent, wouldn't have these celebrities fraudulently buying some of these cars and then it comes out, you know, because they don't want to be seen in an Uber. Do you get me? And me coming here and being honest is me being seen in an Uber, you know, being honest. So we'd like to come here and have these, you know, this look and this facade, you know, that we create for people out there. Gandhi, if you're just being honest, other people relate to that. That's being human, you know? And I champion that, man.
Same here, bro.
All the time.
Proud of you. Thank you very much, guys. Get soliano.co.za. Merch is out, $600 a pop. Get it. Go to his Instagram.
Quality.
Danko. Dope quality t-shirt. Proud of you, bro. Thank you.
So I enjoyed the
That's
food,
not your
man.
boy.
Was that Mzek's chick kitchen? Mzek's kitchen where?
Kitchen.
I enjoyed it, man.
Kitchen like
I'm Oh man.
Oh, God.